Welcome to the Boston Bros Political Podcast. I am Jim Campanini, co-host of the show, with my good friend, Boston Herald political columnist, Peter Lucas. Peter, how you doing today?
Good to be aboard.
Peter, we got a lot of Massachusetts news this week to talk about before we get into more national and regional stuff.
That's why I'm wearing this hat.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's a beautiful hat. That's a nice sheriff's. What is that? What is
Sheriff. It's a sheriff's hat.
Yeah.
I've been deputized by the Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, to arrest these legislators from Texas who are hiding out in Massachusetts.
Those Texas
So that's why I'm wearing the hat.
are all Democrats who fled the state because they did not want to talk or vote on a redistricting measure that the Republicans are putting forward for the congressional seats in Texas. You know, Republicans control, I guess, the legislature there. So the best option they did, they fled to two blue states, Illinois and to Massachusetts.
And also, a few of them went to New York.
So, yeah,
But
New
the
York.
reason they came to Massachusetts, they heard about the welfare benefits.
Yeah. They heard it was a sanctuary state.
Free housing, free telephone, free food, free medical, the whole works.
And I saw the photo in the Boston Globe, at least the digital website. Governor Healey had open arms. She had the open arms and everything when they came in.
She welcomed those delegates, those representatives, like they were illegal immigrants.
Oh, jeez. Well, she just closed down all the hotels as shelters, so maybe they have enough rooms at the 𝐓𝐡𝐞 and the Hyatt now for to house these Democrats from Texas. I just wonder who's going to pick up the tab. Is it
The
gonna be Massachusetts taxpayers? Or?
They've shifted them to private apartments and condos around the town, but it's costing still Massachusetts taxpayers $30,000 a year to house these people.
Family, yeah.
And it's in the budget, state budget, it's over $1 billion a year now to take care of all these illegal immigrants.
Last year it was $935 million, and they're still counting. They still have not closed the books. I saw that in the latest story. $850 million the prior year, so it's $1.7 billion that's on. That's been accounted for, but more to come.
And the governor's gone national. She's going to California this coming week to raise money in San Francisco and Palo Alto and other hot spots in San Francisco to raise money for her reelection campaign.
And how much does she already have on hand?
She has $4 billion on hand.
$4 million.
Yeah, $4 million, yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But she'll need about $8 million to run the campaign. And you have to figure, this is Massachusetts, and she's a Democrat, and she'll be favored to win.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But going to California to raise money is kind of interesting. It's like raising her national profile, and why not? The Democrats have no leaders anyway, and who knows? She may emerge as one of the leaders of the Democrat Party.
Yeah. Well, good for Maura Healey. She likes it on the West Coast. Maybe she might consider moving there.
No, I don't think so.
Because there's a seat open for governor, right? Gavin Newsom, he can't run for governor again, can he? Is
no,
he term limited?
He's term limited, and Kamala
so
Harris.
An open seat there.
And Harris is not going to run for governor.
No, and she might have to get residency, but in California, she could probably get a waiver, like everybody else.
Yeah, like everybody else does. So.
But she could run there. You think she could get elected in California as governor?
Why not?
Yeah.
She, checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
And everybody's crazy out there anyway, so what the hell.
All right, moving to other things. I found this story just incredible, and it just goes to show the impunity that U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, our senior senator. Well, she's not a senior senator, is she?
Yes, she is.
She is senior senator from Massachusetts. Has she has come out this past week and endorsed the radical socialist Democrat Ron Mamdani, who's the front runner in the race for the New York City mayoral primary. Okay, he's a Democrat, but he's an avowed socialist, communist, pro-Palestinian, anti-Semite, friend to North Korean government, and he wants to tax the rich, give away free grocery stores. He wants the city of New York to have its own grocery store chain where they give free food to everybody. Okay. And she came out last week and endorsed him, saying that he was a visionary of what the Democrat Party needs. I mean, just those words should made a chill. I mean, you
left out he wants to defund the cops.
He wants to defund, yes, all the police. There would be basically no New York Police Department except maybe as flag bearers at construction projects, I guess. But it's incredible.
Well,
and she can get away with, that's what the word impunity means. She can get away with it from Massachusetts because she's got no one running against her. The Democrats have a hold on everything in this state. People are like sheep in this state, even all the independents, because there are more independents registered in Massachusetts as voters than in the Democrat and Republican Party. But everyone plays ball, okay, with the majority. You know, they sit on the fence and they go both ways and everything, and they won't ruffle any feathers. And she gets away with this crap.
And not only that, but in New York, even the 2 U.S. senators in New York have not endorsed this guy.
That's right.
Nor has Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the House.
Yeah.
They've walked away from this guy. But he gets an endorsement from Elizabeth Warren.
Even the governor, Hochul, right?
Hochul.
She has not. I mean, she's opposed to Mamdani's campaign, and she basically says there's no way he's going to turn New York City into a free state. And no, she now here she is. New York is one of the highest tax states in the union, and she's now complaining about his tax proposals. He wants to raise taxes, on the rich, and he says he's identified the neighborhoods, the affluent neighborhoods in New York City, where he's going to just selectively raise taxes on, which I don't even know if it's constitutional.
No, he's going after rich white neighborhoods.
Yes, rich white neighborhoods. Labels don't even matter in his world.
You know, the guy is 33 years old. He's never lived in a socialist country. Had he ever lived in a socialist country, he'd be running away from socialism so fast, he'd be like a blur.
So, Peter, this is the thing, and we've talked about the media and how it's become there's a lot of smart people who work in Boston and Massachusetts media. And I saw that article, and I expected the next day or on the news at night. That was major news. Here is Elizabeth Warren endorsing a socialist Democrat, an avowed pro-Palestinian who chants from river to the sea.
Which means killed Jews.
Yeah. And she got away with it. No follow-up story. Nothing in the Globe. Nothing to a Globe reporter, even a Herald reporter. I don't know. Maybe she didn't return the phone call. But say to her, hey, Senator Warren, is this what you espouse for Massachusetts too? That all the Democrats, that maybe the governor of Massachusetts, Maura Healey, that all our mayors should be doing the same things here and turning all the food stores into free stores? And I mean, this is incredible that she said this and got away with it.
Well, the media let her off the hook, as it usually does. Don't forget, the media in Massachusetts, in Boston, has been infiltrated with Democratic propaganda. That's all you get out of the Boston Globe.
What does Elizabeth Warren, in all honesty, what does she add to Massachusetts? I mean, her representation in Washington. What has she done basically, for Massachusetts? What has she done? Except for getting from one controversy to the next. You can't even believe her background.
Forgive me if I give you a moment of silence because I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
She's still collecting a stipend from Harvard, I believe. Last time it was reported in the Boston Globe, $360,000 to teach a course in absentia there, and I don't know.
You think Mandani took that course?
Yeah. Does she live in Cambridge?
Yes.
Yeah, she lives in Cambridge. But, I mean...
Listen, she's come a long way. I can recall when she first came on the campaign scene, she used to attack millionaires left and right. Then she became a millionaire. So now she's upped the game in attacking billionaires. So I assume when she becomes a billionaire, she'll be going after trillionaires.
Yeah. Well,
it's ridiculous.
You know, Elizabeth Warren was the only candidate in the 30 years that I was the editor and the at the Lowell Sun, editorial page editor, managing editor. In the last 12 years of my 30-year career, I was the editor of the paper. She was the only politician in Massachusetts who declined an invitation to come in for an editorial board meeting at the Sun. I remember when her first campaign, when she was canvassing Lowell and showing up a press conference with Nikki Tsongas at the time. Nikki Tsongas was the congresswoman in the district. And I appealed to Nikki Tsongas, why won't she come in? Can you ask her to come in? And Nikki forwarded the invitation after, written appeals to her and even to her staff, phone calls to her. She never wanted to come in. Now, whether she did it because we were a conservative-leaning newspaper, but we were just going to talk to her about her policies. We wanted to know more about her, and she never came into the Sun all those years.
That's because she'd be faced with questions that she wouldn't want to answer.
Yeah. And it was stunning to me, but it always stuck out. I mean, Ted Kennedy, candidates, everybody else came in, even Senator Markey, who was a congressman at the time. I mean, it's just. I mean, Marty Meehan would, he'd always show up for everything.
I'm just glad you're not holding it against her.
But anyway, here she is. She goes to New York City. I tell you, you wonder at one point, when will those Massachusetts independents wake up?
One of these days she's liable to endorse Michelle Wu in mayor of Boston.
Because
I haven't seen that coming yet.
I'd really like to know and ask Elizabeth Warren where she stands on protecting young women in sports, girls in sports. She's never answered that question. I mean, what she thinks about open borders now, and should anybody just come into this country? I mean, she's never really been put on the record in any of these things. She's like a Teflon Don. Okay, and never had to face an inquiry, a strong inquiry from really anyone, or she just ignores the questions.
What you're saying, in essence, is Elizabeth Warren is no Ed Markey.
Okay,
right.
That's a perfect segue.
All right,
segue. You wrote a column last week, a very, very good column in the Boston Herald. It's right here. Markey has Dems frozen in place, meaning that, Ed Markey is, 80 years old now?
He will be 80 election time, yeah.
The Senate term is 6 years, so if he's elected again, he's up for re-election in 2026.
Right.
Yeah. So if he wins that election, he will serve until he's 85, 86. Okay. But his presence in that seat is basically holding up any movement within the Massachusetts Democrats. You know, whether they're Congress people who might like to move up, run, or even other Democrats throughout the state. So I just want to know, did you get any response to that column?
I got a lot of response in that column, saying it's time to turn the seat over to younger legislators. You may recall that John Kerry was a U.S. Senator. When he was appointed by Barack Obama to be Secretary of State, he gave a heads up to Eddie Markey, who was a congresswoman at that time, so Markey could get a jump on the seat and discourage any opposition, which happened. And Markey won the special election, and he's been a U.S. Senator ever since. My point is that he could, had he in his heart, step down now and probably turn the seat over to a younger member of Congress, like it was to him. And there are people like who want the seat, who would run in a minute, like Seth Moulton or Diana Presley and 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐁.
Yeah.
They'd run in a minute. And that in turn would open up their seats to state legislators who would want to run for that and so on and so forth. It would be like a dam bursting, and it would be good for the Democrat Party and have all these openings for new blood and new ideas and so on and so forth. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, and that's the point. I mean, it's got to start somewhere, this rebirth, this renaissance of the Democrat Party. They've been saying that nationally, the Democrat Party needs new blood.
Well,
you look at and no one wants, they're saying, okay, you do it first. I mean, here's a chance for Massachusetts to lead the charge.
Markey's been in public life, elected public office for 52 years.
Yeah. He doesn't even live in the state. He's got an address. He doesn't even live in the state.
He's got an address in Malden. He lives in Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Yeah, in a nice multi-million-dollar house.
Right.
And and there's another one. I mean, how effective is he in the U.S. Senate now with Republicans in control? This would be a good time for him to move on. Now, someone told me that he was holding out. He was going to become a highly paid sidekick for Steve Colbert until Steve Colbert lost his late night TV show. And so that doomed that, and that's from an unreliable source.
But from Markey's point of view, there's, no place to go. There's a Republican president who's not going to make him an ambassador to anywhere. And if you're 80 years old, who's going to hire you?
Harvard.
Except come on this show, maybe.
No, Harvard. Harvard will hire him. Oh. Okay, he'll have a nice gig with Elizabeth Warren. Could you imagine how many foreign students Harvard they could attract?
Harvard is not big enough for Warren and Markey.
Well, it would be. I think it would be a great starting point for him. Of course, they need their federal funding restored to afford both of them. You're probably right there. But yeah, it just. It's just amazing that some of these veteran politicians don't know when it's time to get out, and Markey looks to be in pretty good health.
He looks to be good at
his age.
And he's campaigning. I have to hand it to him.
Hey, look, a lot of people at first didn't give him much of a chance when Joe Kennedy challenged him in his primary.
He beat Joe Kennedy.
He beat him pretty good too
last time around.
But still, it's once again, it's the backlog in the Democrat Party, and that's been the one of the reasons.
Everyone else has been stymied, and it's just too bad. No place, no chance to move up.
Yeah. Did Ed Markey call you at all?
No, but maybe we should have him on the show here.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, he can come on and tell us about all the things he's working on.
Right.
Which I don't know what it is.
Which used to be the Green New Deal until Trump came along. That's gone.
Yeah. So there's one more Massachusetts story that was high on my list. It involves Governor Healey. this past week, the Boston Herald had a wonderful story about a document that the Baker administration had written prior to the transition when Governor Maura Healey was coming in, warning Governor Healey and her administration about the surge in immigration to Massachusetts, the shelters that at the time were already near capacity and more on the way. This was in, of course, late 2022. Joe Biden had opened up the borders, and the Baker administration could see the trend. And Baker had previously gone to the Democratic legislature and asked for more funding for the shelter system, the emergency shelter system that existed at the time, saying there's been an influx of people, more on the way. So the legislature denied the request, and possibly because, the Healey administration was coming in, and they would deal it with the Healey administration. Well, the Boston Herald, and my point is, okay, because we talked about this earlier, you can't blame Maura Healey. It was already a problem that started, but it escalated, accelerated immeasurably once it became known, Massachusetts wanted to welcome all the illegal immigrants that were flocking to the country and the Joe Biden's open borders. But the Boston Herald, this is a journalism, freedom of information request that the Herald had to put through, and the Healey administration denied giving them this document, saying it was a classified document.
Right.
And so now it's just coming out that the Baker administration had warned them, had statistics in there and everything else. And all this thing just blew up and got even worse to the tune where, like we mentioned previously in the show, the state has already spent $1.7 billion over the last 2 years for the emergency shelter system, and it's still growing, even though Governor Healey has shut down 28 hotels that the state basically confiscated.
But the only reason she's been able to do that is because Donald Trump shut down the border.
Yes.
There are no more illegal immigrants flocking to Massachusetts like there used to be.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm not giving anybody blame. It happened. Okay. Could it have been handled better? I think it could have, by telling these people that, listen, you're not going to be welcome here if you're an illegal immigrant. Okay, but we allowed it. Taxpayers on the hook for $2 billion that could have went to other things. But what the Boston Herald, and I got to give them credit, what they had to go through to get this document, they had to hire lawyers, and they eventually got the document from Mike Keneally, who was running for governor as a Republican candidate. He was in the Baker administration.
Right.
He was party to this document because he helped write it. I guess he was involved in economic affairs or housing at the time in the Baker cabinet. And this was basically, a lot of these numbers were known. The legislature had them. They knew about this surge in illegal immigrants and what it was going to mean to the state. I mean, no one had any solutions at the time, but at least the Baker administration was thinking about it, and they were warning the next administration, hey, you're going to have to deal with this because the legislature just turned us down for money to keep the emergency shelter system. This was without all the hotels in place, and hopefully it would bring about some solutions. But it never happened, and just to get this document. I mean, you talk about transparency in government. It seems like every day we have a problem with Massachusetts politicians and lack of transparency.
There is less transparency now than there was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
There is less.
And everybody runs, on transparency. I will open government, freedom of this, freedom of that. And you know what? They get in office and they just forget about it.
We don't even get a daily schedule from the governor
Yeah.
like we used to.
It's amazing, which leads me to my next point. The state auditor, 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐁𝐨𝐬𝐭𝐨𝐬, it was reported in the Boston Globe this morning that she has hired a private attorney.
She's been forced to hire a private attorney because the attorney general will not take up her case and represent her to the Supreme Court.
Now, okay, how many? I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. Anyway, here's a cabinet member, duly elected by the statewide voters of Massachusetts.
No, not a cabinet member, an official elected.
An official elected, yes. Okay, that's what I mean. An official elected
Office holders.
officers at 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐁𝐨𝐬. And she has a ballot question that was approved for audit, that was approved by 72% of Massachusetts
Which would
voters.
give her the
Audit
authority to
legislature.
audit the legislature.
Okay. So backed by that, okay, she just wants to do an audit. It's been 2 years now. She's been in negotiations with the legislature. They keep.
She's been stymied.
She's been stymied. Now she's to the point where she canceled the last meeting or walked. It wasn't even productive because the legislature just keeps nickel and diming. They want to narrow the scope of what she can audit.
Right. Now she wanted the attorney general to represent her to the court to give her the authority to move ahead.
And what are
The attorney general has declined repeatedly to represent her. That's why she's hiring private attorneys to do this, which is a shame in itself. And the point is, the attorney general is siding with the legislature, which approves an increase in her budget,
Yes.
which is just did, a 9% increase in her budget. So one hand is washing the other.
No. And here's something, the background, what's percolating beyond this. 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐁𝐨𝐬𝐭𝐨𝐬 is very, very popular throughout the state. Now, if anyone could run for higher office and probably put up a really good challenge to Governor Healey, okay,
In a primary.
it would be 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐁𝐨𝐬𝐭𝐨𝐬.
Well, she certainly has the issue.
Yeah. And yet here she is. No Democrat has stepped forward to help her in this case that is backed by almost 75% of the voting public in Massachusetts. But she's getting funded in this because she says it's not going to cost the taxpayers anything to fund this lawsuit that she's suing the attorney general. It's basically a donor to the Republican Party, okay, that is putting up the money to fund this effort. Now, you can't make this stuff up. Here's a Democrat who's elected auditor and a Republican, okay, who is putting up the money
To pay for the suit
to pay for this lawsuit.
because the Democratic attorney general refuses to represent her.
Yes. And, okay, there's politics involved, but still, this Republican, I forgot his first name, but it's Minogue. And he might be he says he might be a Republican candidate for governor. But talk about classic bipartisanship. He's basically saying, hey, read into it what you want, but this was endorsed by nearly 75% of the public, voting public in Massachusetts. I'm for this. I'm for an order to the legislature. What are they afraid of? What are they hiding? Same thing that 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐁𝐨𝐬𝐭𝐨𝐬 is saying. Okay, and yet she's been stymied now for 2 years. So this story is not going to end, and already some legal experts are questioning whether 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐁𝐨𝐬𝐭𝐨𝐬 can hire a private attorney to sue the attorney general. They're saying it might not be constitutional. Well, wait a minute, constitutional when you can't even get the attorney general to support a law that was, it's not a law, but a ballot question supported by the people. Okay, isn't that why we vote? That's the will of the people. I mean, it's just it seems constitutional to me. That's the democratic process. So, what do you think is going to happen in this case, Peter?
I think it'll be a big issue in the upcoming election in 2026. I don't think it'll be resolved by then.
Wow.
I think that she, if she were interested, could use this as a campaign to run for governor in a Democrat primary. I'm not sure she would, but I'll tell you, it's a hell of an issue.
It is.
If 72% of the people vote for it, 72% of the people are liable to vote for her, too.
Yeah.
In a primary.
I tell you, the auditor, you know what? I give her credit. She's a bulldog. She's pretty sharp, and she's not going to give in. She's not going to give in. And good for her, especially on this issue.
On this issue, she could probably knock off the governor in a primary in this issue because the governor is on the other side. She's on the side that helped stymie the audit of the legislature.
Yeah, and at this point, why wouldn't the legislature? Why wouldn't they want to be audited?
Because the legislature traditionally, for years, generations, makes its own rules, and it continues to do so. And they think that is their constitutional right. It's a constitutional question, a separation of powers. They believe that the legislature is separate from the executive and should be left alone to run their own affairs. That's their argument. The public doesn't seem to agree, but...
Now, just let me ask a question. I don't know the answer to this. Maybe you do. Do other auditors in other states, do they audit their own government, their own legislature?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
To find out. Some do.
Some do, some
That's
don't.
from Teddy Payne, who's our producer.
And he knows.
Who's a lot smarter than we are.
Right.
But anyway, so that's going to be another story that's worth following. But once again, it's bizarre. It's incredible. It's an amazing to hear you have two statewide elected office holders now involved in a potential lawsuit suing each other over a ballot question that was supported by 72% of the people. Now, even remember when Tom Finneran, who was the House Speaker, he basically tried to deep six the clean elections law. Remember, but he didn't go so far as he just chipped away at it. Kept saying we're not going to fund it. Remember, we're not going to fund it. We're not going to fund it. Needed funding, and then finally it just went away.
Well, this is not going to go away.
No, this is not going to go away. So, turning our attention to the, I need some insight into this Boston Mayor Wu. Jonathan Kraft mayoral clash in Boston. There's an election going on for mayor there. Jonathan Kraft, the son of Robert Kraft, who owns the New England Patriots, is challenging Mayor Wu, and a lot of stuff with White Stadium, building the new stadium in Everett for the Revolution, the professional Revolution soccer team, which the Kraft Group owns. Jonathan Kraft says he'd recuse himself from this whole thing if he becomes mayor because the negotiation is ongoing. But it seems like Wu is hammering Jonathan Kraft over this every day with something new about this, and they're not focusing on really what's going on with the issues.
I maintain that Josh Kraft could be mayor of Boston, could have been mayor of Boston.
I'm sorry, is it Jonathan Kraft or Josh?
Josh.
I'm sorry. Josh Kraft. I apologize.
He should have run for at-large for the Boston City Council, gotten one term under his belt. Wu was not going to run for a third term. The mayor's office would have been open. And with that experience as a Boston City Councilor, particularly at large, he'd be a natural candidate to succeed her as mayor. Instead, he's just parachuted in, and a lack of political experience, as it shows. He's running against a political pro. Despite her benign young looks, she's a tough campaigner. She's campaigned several times throughout Boston, becoming a member of the city council and city council president. She knows her business. And, you know, politics is a business. And she knows it through and through, and it shows. And she's got Josh Kraft on the defensive on a number of issues. And, of course, it doesn't help that he's had to recuse himself. It doesn't help that his income is $6 million a year, which makes you scratch your head why he ever would want to be mayor of Boston. And I think he's missed his opportunity.
Well, I mean, to that point, he's been drafted because the Boston business community is not happy with Michelle Wu. I mean, she's almost to the point. She talks about development for new housing, but she doesn't give businesses the same.
Jim, the Boston business community lives in Wellesley.
Yeah. That's probably where the point is. But Kraft has always also been playing this campaign with kids' gloves. I mean, she's had several scandals in her administration from her own executive team, and you know, the mass and Cass situation, tent city, drugs, crime. I mean, all they keep doing is shifting the sites. They move that tent city from one corner to the next. Now the crime is surging again in the Mass and Cass area. I mean, he's got some issues. If he had solutions to bring up, to at least nicker with some of these.
He's been too much of a gentleman.
Yes, he has.
And politics is not a profession for gentlemen or gentlewomen.
So,
and Wu is tough.
Yeah. So I was surprised. Well, not surprised, but I saw that one of his campaign spokespeople and strategists is Will Kaiser, friend of mine. He was also a campaign strategist for Charlie Baker, who ran successfully for governor for 2 terms. So I'm just wondering when Will is going to help turn up the heat here.
I don't know, but it seems to me that Josh Kraft has been a political consultant's dream candidate.
Yeah. So, okay. So, Peter, what's on the docket for this week?
The docket is to find out who is going to be called before Attorney General Pam Bondi's grand jury that she's called to look into who was behind the Russian collusion hoax that savaged Donald Trump for years.
Yeah.
She's called the grand jury. I don't know where it's going to be held, but that witness list is going to be fantastic to see who's going to be subpoenaed to testify.
And
I'm talking about people like Clapper, Brennan, and Comey, who are all lawyering up now because this story is not going to go away.
What about Hillary Clinton?
And
she gets subpoenaed?
Well, she's been subpoenaed in a separate case before the House Oversight Committee. That's she and Bill Clinton have been subpoenaed on that. But that's a whole other issue. The issue that the grand jury has been called is dealing with the Russian collusion hoax and how these intelligence officials under Barack Obama, and Barack Obama himself included, doctored the intelligence information to make Trump look bad and to savage his candidacy and his presidency, which worked, by the way. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, and it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. So, reading articles on both sides of this political divide, you know, the mainstream press still has not given this story much much legs. Even the TV news, they don't even mention it when this story first broke.
That's because they're in the hip pocket of the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
that's it's pretty simple.
I think Senator Chuck Grassley is doing a great job getting to the bottom of this. He's persisting in it, and the American people once again deserve to know if this Steele dossier and all this other Russian interference, the fake relationships with Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, people deserve to know.
Of course they deserve to know. Years ago, I read that Steele dossier when it first came out. It was ridiculous. It was so absurd. You say, how could anyone take any of this seriously? It was just a made-up bunch of lies. And yet they used that as the basis to go after Donald Trump. And it worked because they did savage him. They impeached him. They wrecked his first presidency. And now I think they may have to pay the price for doing it.
I think President Obama has a lot to lose in this if it's true, because it's very disturbing that the CIA and the FBI initially could find no evidence linking any of this propaganda to Donald Trump, the collusion with the Russians, and yet he basically said, make it up.
Have you noticed how no reporters from the left-wing media have gone to Obama to ask him any questions, or to Hillary, or to Bill Clinton? They don't ask questions because they don't want the answers, and they're bent on defending them no matter what.
Yeah, so very revealing, and it's just amazing that President Trump, yes, he's made some mistakes, but it's amazing how many things that he's done or said that have turned out to be true. Okay, and once again, unless you watch the right TV or read certain publications, you're never going to find out about it. Maybe it's a paragraph at the end of a story or stuff, but the guy has been pretty spot on a lot of these things, and especially creative in dealing with some of these issues that he's
been a remarkable
solutions.
president. The first 6 months of this presidency has been unprecedented. No other president has done what he's done in such a short period of time.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see as he ratchets up the pressure on Vladimir Putin, the Russians, to end this war in Ukraine. There was a meeting this morning with the U.S. ambassador and Putin. They actually met. Putin actually met him. And so maybe this is the start of something new, because I think Donald Trump is losing his patience with Vladimir Putin on this issue. A lot of civilians in Ukraine are being killed.
No, women and children, it's terrible. It's got to end.
Yeah. So we'll see what transpires. And also I know we've talked about this in the past, the Israeli situation with the war in Gaza. It was interesting to see that Great Britain and France
And
Canada have joined forces to create a second state. They want the Palestinians to have their own state.
They want to recognize a Palestinian state. There's nothing much there to recognize.
Which is crazy.
It's a bunch of rubble and,
But, I mean, for them to even do that.
Oh, they're playing into the hands of Hamas.
Yeah. And
nobody said politicians are smart, Just because they're politicians and hold office, that doesn't mean they're smart.
How fast we forget. So it's crazy. So any good columns we should look forward to?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to be busy this weekend. I'm going to round up all those Texas politicians that came into Massachusetts and send them back to Governor Greg Abbott in Texas, where they'll be arrested and put in jail.
You heard it from Peter Lucas. He writes 3 columns a week in the Boston Herald. So make sure you look him up. And boy, I tell you, I just got the Boston Herald app. I get a subscription, on and I really like it. It's easy to operate,
Right.
And if you jump on board now, you can get 6 months for $1. Believe it or not, we pay $1 and you get a subscription for 6 months to the Boston Herald and all Peter Lucas's columns.
And I get
great.
1 cent on the dollar.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the stories, and that's what we said, and I'm standing by it. So Peter, have a great week until
Okay.
until next week's show. Have a great time.